Hi, this is Keith with Venia Coffee. We're here to talk about cold brew coffee. Just about that time of year where a nice cold brew after a hard day's work is incredibly refreshing. Lots of different ways to do it. Our favorite is with the Sowden coffee maker. It's a porcelain coffee maker, and the key that makes this really good is this etched microfilter. I don't know if you could see how we can get in there. You can see through there. It is a uber fine mesh material. I think it's photo etched on there. Great filter for making cold brew. Cold brew, pretty easy to do. It's all about ratio and brew time. So we're going to use Guatemalan Santa Sofia micro lot today. It's a medium to light roast coffee. The brew ratios are what's important. Generally, when you're making a full strength coffee, a 1 part coffee to 14 parts water is a good place to start. A lot of cold brew recipes are 1 part coffee to 4 parts water. I find those to be a little too strong, and you have to dilute them too much. Water or milk or cream or whatever you put in there. So I love about a 1 to 7 part ratio. So on the Sowden, this is the 12 cup Sowden. It is about 8 ounces of coffee and fill it up to about 1.5 liters if you're in the metric system. Gives you about a 1 to 7 ratio. One of the things that people really love about cold brew is that it really mutes some of the brighter acids in coffee. But the flip side, those are what makes a coffee really special. So if you remove too much of those, it's kind of bland and boring. A key is brewing it at room temperature as opposed to in the refrigerator. If you brew it in the refrigerator, it's just too cold and it is just a boring blah cup of coffee. You can start with amazing beans, and it's you just lose it. On the countertop, room temperature 65, 70 degrees, depending where you're at. We're in Seattle, so that's kind of room temperature around here. Find that it works really, really well. So recommend a nice coffee that already has some really nicely developed acids. This Guatemalan Santa Sofia lot that we have right now, lots of fruity red fruit, big kind of herbaceous finish on it. Works really nice. So what we're going to do is we'll start off, we'll tare our scale to get zeroed out, and we'll add 8 ounces of coffee, give or take. Alright, and we want to grind to a fairly coarse grind setting. On the Vario, we're almost down into the press range. If you go too fine, it gets muddy on the bottom, and it's not over extracts. It's not real good. So about something what you do in a French press is where you want to start. All right. Finish adding. So you notice that that fills up the filter fairly well. Then it's easy. Simply fill it with water. We'll take a pour slow. If you fill too much, it will takes a while for the water to drain through the filter and fill up the carafe. That's just about full. Simply add the lid and place on the counter, and come back tomorrow and we'll see what we got. About 12 hours is where I prefer to leave it. You can go up to 18. I wouldn't recommend going too much beyond that. Alright, we've been steeping overnight, about 18 hours, so we're on the longer end of it. and process is pretty easy. Just take the top off, kind of gunky, but we could clean that up. And easy as pie, just lift and lift slowly to allow coffee to drain out of there. For time's sake, I'll just set it aside, but if I were doing that at home, I would let it drain a bit more, get every last drop. You can clean up the lid and you can put the lid back on to store the cold brew. You could use the concentrate in multiple ways. One of my favorite is very simple, just a few ice cubes. And this is going to be a fairly stiff drink. Oh, it smells wonderful. Something you can't get on the camera, but a little half and half. Beautiful. Wow, that's great. So a couple closing thoughts here. I use a 1:7 coffee to water ratio, so that was 8 ounces of coffee for the large Sowden 12 cup. I don't like to dilute it as much, use as much milk or water or cream or whatever in it, so the 1:7 ratio works well. If you're going to be using it more as a concentrate to add to other drinks, you could go to a 1:4 even, so double it again, so you're making quite a heavy concentrate. Upon tasting this, it's actually a very nice cup, pretty clear. The varietal characteristics are very present. Many people complain that cold brew, you lose the origin specific flavors in a coffee. If that's true, then you haven't been doing it right, or you need better coffee. It's quite present. It's going to be a little different than traditionally hot brewed coffee for sure, but it is there's a lot of character there. Yeah, and finally, play around, experiment, change grind size. I think this could have gone just a hair finer on the grind. It was a French press style grind, maybe a little more, a little finer might have added a little bit to it, but you don't want to go too fine and you get muddy and you start to lose some of that character. But all right, so cold brew at home. This will last about a week in the fridge. I think it starts dropping off after a couple days. You lose some of the clarity on it, and it starts to get a little more boring. So I like to brew what I could drink in a couple days, but it will last a week or so in the fridge if needed to. All right, thanks so much. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.